Hello, my friends, welcome back. I hope you are having a peaceful and wonderful day. Today, I want to tell you the story of one of the most famous women in history. She lived more than 2,000 years ago. She was a queen. She was intelligent, she was powerful, and even today, people around the world still remember her name. Her name was Cleopatra. When people hear the name Cleopatra, they often think about beauty. They imagine a queen wearing gold jewelry or a beautiful woman sitting on a golden throne. But Cleopatra was much more than that. She was a leader, a diplomat, and a woman who spoke many languages. She ruled a great kingdom during a very dangerous time, and her story is filled with ambition, courage, love, and tragedy. How did a young queen become one of the most famous women in history? Let's find out together. Before we begin, if you enjoy learning English through stories, please subscribe to Everstory English. Your support helps us create more stories for your English learning journey. Cleopatra was born in 69 BC in Alexandria, Egypt. At that time, Alexandria was one of the most beautiful cities in the world. It was a city full of knowledge, with large buildings, busy markets, and one of the greatest libraries in history. People came from many countries to visit Alexandria, making it one of the most important cities of the ancient world. Cleopatra grew up inside the royal palace. Her father was the king of Egypt, and his name was Ptolemy XII. Although Cleopatra ruled Egypt, her family was originally Greek. Many years earlier, their ancestors had come to Egypt and become its rulers. As a child, Cleopatra loved learning. She was curious about everything around her. She studied mathematics, history, and science. But most importantly, she studied languages. She learned Greek, Egyptian, and several other languages as well. This made her very different from many rulers before her. She wanted to speak directly with her people and understand different cultures. People said she was one of the smartest children in the palace. However, life inside the palace was not peaceful. There were many struggles for power, and members of the royal family often fought each other. Everyone wanted the throne, and everyone wanted control. When Cleopatra was 18 years old, her father died, and she became queen. But there was a problem. According to tradition, she had to rule together with her younger brother, Ptolemy XIII. He was only a child. At first, Cleopatra tried to lead the kingdom. She made important decisions, spoke with foreign leaders, and worked to strengthen Egypt. But her brother's advisors did not like this. They wanted power for themselves, and they feared Cleopatra's intelligence and influence. Slowly, they turned people against her, and soon the situation became dangerous. Cleopatra was forced to leave Egypt. Imagine that. One day you are the queen, and the next day you are running away from your own kingdom. Many people would have given up. Many people would have accepted defeat. But Cleopatra was not like most people. She refused to surrender. She traveled east and began building support. She gathered loyal followers, made plans, and waited patiently for the right opportunity. Soon, that opportunity arrived. At the same time, Rome was becoming the most powerful nation in the world. Its armies were strong, and its leaders controlled vast lands. One of those leaders was Julius Caesar. Caesar was one of the most famous men in Rome. He was a brilliant general, a powerful politician, and he was about to enter Cleopatra's life. When Caesar arrived in Egypt, Cleopatra saw a chance. She knew she needed his support, But reaching him would not be easy. Her enemies controlled the city, and if they found her, they might kill her. So Cleopatra created a bold plan. According to a famous story, she secretly entered the palace hidden inside a rolled carpet. When the carpet was opened before Caesar, Cleopatra stepped out. Caesar was surprised and impressed by her courage. He listened to her story and quickly recognized her intelligence. The two began working together. Soon, Caesar decided to support Cleopatra. This decision started a conflict. Cleopatra's enemies were angry, and war broke out. Fighting filled the streets of Alexandria, and for months the future of Egypt remained uncertain. Finally, Caesar's forces won. Cleopatra returned to power and once again sat on the throne of Egypt. Now she was stronger than before. She ruled with confidence, worked to improve her kingdom, strengthened Egypt's economy, supported trade, and built relationships with powerful nations. During this time, Cleopatra and Caesar became very close. Many historians believe they were in love, while others believe they were mainly political partners. Perhaps they were both. Eventually, Cleopatra gave birth to a son named Caesarion, and she believed he was Caesar's child. For a time, everything seemed hopeful, but history often changes quickly. In 44 BC, shocking news arrived from Rome. Julius Caesar had been murdered. A group of senators attacked him and stabbed him inside the Senate building. Caesar was dead, and everything changed. Without Caesar's protection, Cleopatra faced uncertainty once again. She returned her full attention to Egypt, while Rome entered another period of conflict. Different leaders fought for power, and one of those leaders was Mark Antony. Mark Antony had been a friend of Caesar. He was brave, strong, and soon became one of the most powerful men in Rome. A few years later, Antony invited Cleopatra to meet him. The meeting became legendary. Cleopatra arrived on a magnificent ship with purple sails and golden decorations. Everything about her arrival showed wealth, confidence, and power. Antony was amazed. Just like Caesar before him, he admired Cleopatra. The two became very close and soon formed both a political alliance and a romantic relationship. Together, they became one of the most famous couples in history. They spent years working together, had children, and dreamed of building a strong future for Egypt. But not everyone approved of their relationship. In Rome, another leader was rising. His name was Octavian. He would later become Augustus, the first Roman emperor. Octavian saw Antony and Cleopatra as a threat. He told the people of Rome that Antony cared more about Egypt than Rome, and he claimed that Cleopatra wanted too much power. Slowly, public opinion turned against them. Tension grew and eventually war became unavoidable. In 31 BC, the two sides met in a great naval battle near Actium. Ships filled the sea, thousands of soldiers fought, and the battle became one of the most important conflicts of the ancient world. Unfortunately for Cleopatra and Antony, they lost. Their enemies were stronger, and their position became hopeless. They returned to Egypt, knowing that Octavian would come after them. And he did. 1 year later, Roman forces entered Egypt, and the final chapter of Cleopatra's story began. As defeat approached, tragedy followed. Mark Antony received false news that Cleopatra had died. Heartbroken, he took his own life. Soon afterward, Cleopatra learned of Antony's death, and she was devastated. Now she stood alone. Octavian captured her and planned to take her back to Rome. There, she would appear in a victory parade as a prisoner. For Cleopatra, this was unbearable. She had been a queen. She had ruled one of the greatest kingdoms in the world. She did not want to live as a captive. In 30 BC, Cleopatra died at the age of 39. Many people believe she ended her own life. Some stories say she used poison, while others say she allowed a snake to bite her. The truth remains uncertain. But one thing is clear: she chose her own fate. With Cleopatra's death, Egypt lost its independence and became part of the Roman world. The age of the pharaohs came to an end. Yet Cleopatra was never forgotten. More than 2,000 years later, books are still written about her, movies are still made about her, and people continue to discuss her life. Why? Because Cleopatra was extraordinary. She lived in a world dominated by powerful men. Yet she became one of the most influential leaders of her time. She understood politics, she understood language, and she understood people. She knew that knowledge could be just as powerful as an army. Today, Cleopatra reminds us of something important. Learning matters. Knowledge matters. Communication matters. The languages she learned helped her connect with people from different cultures. In many ways, we are doing something similar when we learn English. Every new word helps us connect with the world. Every story helps us understand history and people better. And every lesson makes us stronger. Thank you for listening to this story today. I hope you enjoyed learning about Cleopatra, and I hope this story helped you improve your English. If you enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe, and join us for more timeless stories. Until next time, keep learning, keep listening, and keep growing with Everstory English.